Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Pakistan team's training camp has concluded. The 22 players that we talk about were all in the plans for the future of white ball cricket. Mike Hesson, the head coach, had a keen eye on most of these players, and a lot of these names are some that some of you might be hearing for the very first time. But the fact still remains that the players were divided into 3 different groups, and of course this camp was a very extensive training camp that focused on the skills of batting, bowling and fielding. There's a lot of news coming out from Pakistan Cricket Board. I tell that today, and surely Asif Ahmad is going to enjoy it, as it is right on the eve of Eid ul-Azha, so I'm sure he's going to be over the moon as his Eid present. But a lot of news, trust me, a lot of news coming out from Pakistan Cricket Board regarding what's going to happen next. So we'll be talking a bit about that, a bit about the camp as well. Then of course we move on to the World Test Championship. 5 days to go. All eyes are going to be at Lords, where Australia, being led by Pat Cummins, face South Africa, being led by Temba Bavuma, and it's going absolutely exciting because Test cricket is something that real form of the game is loved by many who enjoy this game as a passion. So I think it's going to be a great contest. Although Australia, the better side, holding their nerves, defending champions, whatever you want to call them, the mighty Australians, but never rule out South Africa. The heartbreaks they've had in ICC tournaments, they have more at stake in this final. They can inspire a generation after winning this one. So I'm sure South Africa is going to give it their all. And the thing is that, at Lords, if you're able to match the first innings, then you've got a real chance in the test match as well. So we'll discuss some numbers and what the stats tell us as well. Then we move on to Roland Garros, the French Open. We discuss all the inclusions with you as well. The men's semi-final lineup has been completed. A lot of eyes are still on Novak Djokovic, who continues to defy expectations. Everybody who rules him out, he once again tells them that I am still there in the world of tennis. We'll talk about Carlos Alcaraz. Then we move on to the women's affair as well, because that is something exceptional that we talk about. And it's been absolutely, I think, shocking semi-final results. And now we move on to the final, which is going to be very, very interesting as well. So that's what we discuss on the show. First segment, of course, cricket. Joining us is cricket commentator, international broadcaster, sports expert and fellow anchor, Asif Ahmad. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmad. I'm eagerly waiting to hear something special from you. Go ahead, please.
Certainly. Thank you very much for joining us. Also joining us is cricket expert and analyst Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum, Sabir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmad. I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us as well. Before we move on to that, Asif Ahmad, just a bit about the camp. These certain probable players who are now being considered as future replacements in the next generation of players.
Well, Ahmad, first of all, I would like to share something with you guys as you opened up and you were about to open a Pandora box. So let me share something interesting. That that who actually convinced the chairman Pakistan Cricket Board to bring Salman Ali Agha as captain, whereas that 3 of the coaches, 3 of the mentors, Misbah-ul Haq, Siklan Mushtaq and Sirfraz, advised to bring Shadab Khan as skipper. But who was the personality behind the decision, and who convinced Chairman Pakistan Cricket Board don't do this decision?
Wahab Riaz.
Well, guys, that is called Ahmad Nawaz. Whenever you ask any question, he has an answer. He knows each and everything. So interestingly, that Wahab Riaz got so much power, where the rest of the mentors and coaches, they were trying to convince to Mohsin Naqvi that bring Shadab Khan, but he said, no, I'll go with Wahab Riaz. Whatever he's saying, I'll obey him. So actually they brought Salman Ali Agha. Now coming back to this.
But turned out to be a good decision.
See, when you take some decision, sometimes it helps you, sometimes it won't help you, but at least take something new decision. I mean, don't follow the same traits, don't follow the old traits, and think out of the box. So of course we're with you that it is working so far, that the way Pakistan played against Bangladesh, that giving some hopes, and that's the position. And if you ask me about the camp of Pakistan, new faces, Ahmad, especially with the new coach. Yesterday we have discussed that it's lots of responsibility over the coaches, over a newly appointed coach that he has to work on the unity. And in this camp that we have watched some visuals, of course, that these visuals coming from Pakistan Cricket Board, and we're watching them. And good news is that looks that the guys are enjoying after the PSL, and what happened, what was happening in the dugout, in the dressing room. But the good thing is that now everybody's enjoying, and this is what we were missing for a long time. Because when you removed Babar Azam, you brought Shaheen Afridi. Again, you removed Shaheen Afridi, you brought Babar Azam. So something fishy, something was going on in the dressing room, and people were not happy. But in this camp, I'm so happy that Salman Ali Agha, always a very jolly guy, really talkative to his colleagues, really talkative to his teammates. It reflects that he got some confidence from the management, isn't it?
And he's keeping the mood a bit light as well for the dressing room, which was much needed in Pakistan cricket. I think too much was going on in that dressing room, and finally we moved to a point where things are settling down. But Sabir, these players that have been identified in this camp have been, looked at a very keen eye and with a lot of potential to serve Pakistan cricket.
Absolutely, Ahmad. I mean, first of all, good decision by Mike Hassan, and good to see, some kind of, foreign coaches are really, they would like to do something in Pakistan. I mean, staying in Pakistan is extremely important. We have seen in the past, like Jason Gillespie, Gary Kirsten as well, even Mickey Arthur, they were not, staying in Pakistan. They should have, stayed in Pakistan to see, the local talent of Pakistan physically. But I mean, right now, extremely excited to see such kind of activities are being held in Lahore, and 22 players are being called, especially for the white ball ODIs and also for the T20 series. The core agenda of particular this camp would be to analyze their recent performances, also the fitness as well, and the roadmap for the white ball a series coming ahead near future. So there are a couple of good performance of PSL, and there are a couple of a youngster are included in this particular camp, along with the senior players like Babar Azam, Shaheen Afridi, and then Mohammad Rizwan as well. We have, before the show, we were talking about Shahid Aziz and Salman Mirza as well, Tayyab Tahir, Ali Raza. So these are basically a young prospect. They could, serve Pakistan in white ball, T20, and also in ODIs as well. So this shows this particular, coach Mike Hassan, he has some agenda, and he has some objectives and goals as well. So which is extremely important. So individually, basically, he is working. So which is a great sign for Pakistan cricket. I mean, rather than he could have we could have provide services, online services like we have seen in the past as well. But right decision and right time as well, because there are a couple of weeks which are off for Pakistani team. Next month they will be playing T20s in Bangladesh. But I mean, mind you, it will be difficult for Pakistan because we have seen their condition, especially in the spinning tracks as well. Mostly higher-ranked teams struggle in Bangladesh. But it will be important to see, important for young players basically to identify their basically skills and also enhance their skills as well, especially with this particular foreign coach.
Absolutely, and I think Mike Hassan is a very calculated person. So, okay, Asif Ahmad, I hope you're ready now. I'm sure you've been waiting for this. Are you ready, Asif Ahmad?
I'm ready. Please go ahead. And we do not have enough time.
We don't have enough snacks, I need snacks to get. But so the very first decision that has been taken by Mike Hassan as the head coach, he's got a lot of authority at the moment, and he's calling a lot of shots, to be honest. The first decision he's taken is that no lapses in fielding. Anyone who cannot present himself as a gun fielder will not get a place in the playing 11. Simple as that.
So no more Haris Rauf, no more even Shaheen Shah.
Haris Rauf is a good fielder.
No, he is not.
He's never dropped a single catch.
No, in this PSL he was.
No,
he was not
PSL
up to the
was
mark.
Horrible for Pakistan. More than 70, 80 catches were dropped in this.
So that's the problem. Anyways, just coming back. I mean, it's a very good news, though. Whenever we talk about the Pakistan's problem, so fielding is a big problem. Pakistan lost so many matches just because of their poor fielding. And if this coach, Hassan, is working on it, definitely everybody should admire that he has taken a very bold decision. If you are not a good fielder, thank you very much. We don't need you. And see that we have what Jonty Rhodes actually had set a trend that if you are a good fielder, and let's suppose if you are not a good batter, even then we could accommodate you in the field, in the team, because let's suppose if you're making 25 runs and if you're taking 1-2 good catches and you're securing 20 runs for your team, 1-2 good run out, I think then it's a win-win situation for your presence in the team,
Like
isn't it?
Sufiyan Malik for us, he's a gun fielder.
Oh,
you
yes.
know, he's got some strong legs.
Why not a Wes?
Yeah, okay.
Come on, Ahmad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, please. He's also a good
You're
fielder.
trying to sack the coach now, you know. Right. So I think very necessary. No more those days of hiding people on third man and fine leg. You need good fielders. The second, plan that they're going to be executing now for T20. I'm just talking about white ball cricket, not T20. Let me rephrase, or please let me correct myself. For white ball, for one days and T20s, he's now put up the plan that we need people who can bat, even at number 8 and number 9. So that probably signifies that bowlers who have the potential to bat are going to be included. We no longer need bowlers who can bat, because modern day cricket is something that we see batting deep down the order, Asif Ahmad, even till number 9 and 10.
Well, Ahmed, see, look at the teams, the way they're playing and they're winning, and let's go for the stats of Australia and India. Why India and Australia are so successful in each format. Even in the Test cricket, India had Ishwin in the late down, and Australia had Pat Cummins with the bat.
He won them the World Cup. I
Yes.
tell people his innings were absolutely exceptional.
Exactly. And I'm talking about the recent era. If you go in the past, you see Andy Bickle from the Australia, Brett Lee, all of them, they were good batters. Even in Pakistan team, you know that we do.
Syed Ajmal.
Syed
I remember the third man for Syed bhai scored, with a winning shot. So I remember that as well. But Sabir, this is important now. Teams have been winning games based on the fact that they've had, and this is something that we are now focusing on. Teams have already done that in the past 3 or 4 years.
Look, fitness level is extremely important for every player. That is the reason basically there are a couple of players who are basically called off in this particular camp, especially Amir Jamal. They are looking at if you talk about the fast bowling all-rounder. Fahim Ashraf is not in this particular squad, but he has been in tremendous form. But likes of Sufiyan, Mukeen, Mehra, Mumtaz as well. There are some youngsters. They need to basically focus on fitness as well. If you have not you are not fit enough, especially at international level, so you cannot survive. You cannot hide. The captain basically cannot hide you. So we have seen in the past we have basically lost crunch matches, especially semi-finals. Test matches as well, because of drop catches, because of poor fielding, because of fatigue issues as well, especially on the 4th day. So these are basically major concerns. So if you are a good enough batsman or a bowler, you need to be a fittest a fielder as well. We have seen the fast bowler Shane Bond used to be a wonderful fielder. We have seen a couple of good hard-hitting batsmen at the top of but also the good fielders as well. So fitness is extremely important. Couple of way back, 5-7 years
Andrew
ago.
Simons from
Yes,
Australia.
oh, wonderful fielder.
Yeah, very true.
He was so good with the
2015,
ball, with the
16.
bat, and extraordinary fielder, isn't it?
Yes, Sabir.
Yeah. If you talk about fitness level, we used to have a training camp in NEPTA about 2015-16 when Misbah was the captain, Yunus Khan as well. We basically drawn the series in England. So we had a couple of 3 to 4 weeks fitness camp as well, training camp. So these basically training camps, especially not in the summer condition, but in in winter condition, you need to have these kind of some training camps to basically get best of the best of the
I
players.
think that criteria needs to be a consistent one as well, and that's why I think it comes down, trickle downs to the regional level and the junior cricket as well in Pakistan, because that's where you can set the base. If you've got physically fit players and mentally strong players from that level onwards, fitness needs to become a part of your life, not just that you're going into a training camp as well. And I've seen on and off from ages like under 16, under 19, it's preposterous. You're making an under 19 guy run 5 rounds in the summer of a ground. Doesn't make sense. That's not fitness. Running completely is not fitness. 10 laps of the ground is not fitness. There needs to be complete professional manuals of fitness that need to be implemented. And I think that should be the case. The next thing, like I said, that they're focusing on, and now comes the big question, which has been on everybody's minds, of Babar and Rizwan. So conflicting news are coming in. One source says that obviously they want both of them. They don't want both of them. My source, which has talked to Mike Hessam, says that he wants Babar Azam in his plans for the World Cup. Ki Asif Ahmed.
Well, I had this information before, but the first information you had given us that he doesn't want both of these players. Okay, let's go for the hypothesis that upcoming series with South Africa, Sri Lanka, West Indies. Let's suppose if this middle order doesn't work and they won't able to play up to the mark, then what will happen? Either we will undo our decisions, either we will go for, we'll take big decisions and we'll go with a big heart. I think Mike Hesson, as you were telling me right before the show, you were talking about his aptitude and his personality. He takes big decisions. You know, this is what we have observed in last couple of years, especially when we talk about
whether they come into the team or whether they're not. I'm not talking about any one of them, but you know, let's like you said, a hypothesis is up on the cards.
Well,
I think they've been told or if like for my source tells me that they've talked to Babar Azam, I think Babar has also been clarified of what the brand of cricket he needs to play, what he needs to revolve around on those numbers.
Ahmad, it's a very genuine point. But I would like to ask you, and I would like to raise this question for both of my respectable colleagues, that see, Mohammad Rizwan is a complete wicket keeper, perfect wicket keeper. He's a good batter as well. But I'm not talking about his strike rate. I'm not talking about that what happened in the Pakistan Super League and what was going on in the previous events. Well, let's suppose that Mohammad Haris, do you believe him 100%? I mean, are you confident about him? Or you think that if he plays well, he'll go. If he doesn't play well, we'll talk about Rizwan.
You need to simplify this question. If I have to pick between Rizwan and Haris, I'll pick Haris for T20 cricket.
No, see, even knowing the fact that he's not a good wicket keeper.
No, Haris is a good wicket keeper.
Better than Rizwan?
Yes, better than Rizwan.
All right.
Currently better.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yes, Sabir bhai.
Sabir Hussain. Yes.
Look, I mean, Asif is a big fan of, Hasibullah. He used to be a big fan of Hasibullah. Why is he not talking about Hasibullah as well? He's a good wicket keeper, youngster as well, very hard-hitting batsman. Also bats at top of the order as well. But I mean, look at the current form. A couple of weeks ago, you asked us the same question about Babar Rizwan in the 2026 World Cup. I said basically better to leave them and go for the for the youngsters as well. And you have enough matches to basically prepare your team. You have T20s against Bangladesh, you in Ireland, against West Indies as well. You have Asia Cup as well. So there are a couple of matches where you can build your own team, especially the young team as well. Looking at the current scenario, the teams are basically 200 is a power score. While Babar and Rizwan, they had a successful career as far as the T20's opening partnership is concerned. Pakistan basically tried 10 different pairs since 2024. So I mean the highest average is 29 by Umar bin Yusuf and Saim Ayub, 29 in a single match. So other than we have tried so many different openers. I mean Rizwan, Saim, then Haris, Rizwan. So many openers. I mean even Sabir Farhan, Umar bin Yusuf as well.
There's a whole list.
No, but a very simple question, Ahmad. I said that if he will not play well in upcoming series, even then you will go with him. This is
Rizwan has not played majority. There have been majority innings where he's not played well, and he's been promoted as a skipper.
So you want in any position, in any situation, you want Mohammad Haris.
No, look. Right? Let's suppose if I am convinced in bringing back Mohammad Rizwan, at the cost of who?
Mohammad Haris.
Again, that doesn't make sense. How are you going to fit him there?
Well, see.
The only role Rizwan can play in the team is as an opener. He cannot bat at number 4 and 5.
True, agree.
He cannot bat.
That's a genuine point.
Right now for Pakistan.
I agree with you.
Absolutely. We need to go on numbers right now. Right now, Pakistan's opening is sorted at current with Saibzada Farhan and Saim Ayub Fakhar Zaman at number 3. 4 is Mohammad Haris, 5 is Hassan Nawaz currently, then Salman Ali Agha, Shadab, and subsequently, you can adjust
yes.
there.
Even I feel, in my opinion, Khushdil Shah, if you have Shadab Khan, if you have Salman Ali Agha, Saim Ayub, these 3 can bowl, especially the T20s. So better to, include Irfan Khan rather than Khushdil Shah, because Khushdil Shah he has not been utilized as a bowler properly.
You need a left-hander down the order. You need a left-hander down the order.
Left-hander, but Ahmad, I mean, he is a one-dimensional player. I mean, Asif will be more happy.
And Irfan Niazi is 360. Irfan Niazi is 360.
No, not 360, but he's, if you talk about his batting technique,
I love him as a fielder as well. I'm a big fan of Irfan Niazi, but I think I agree with Sabir that if you want to look right now, this Bangladesh series, they were testing everything.
Yeah.
Going into the future, they can't play 6 all-rounders. That's not going to happen. And Salman might have to bowl one way or the other. The argument I was coming on was that at currently Pakistan teams, if you bring back Rizwan, he can only play as an opener. That can't happen at current.
Well, this
if you
is
bring
a
back
very
Babar
solid
Azam,
point. Yeah,
if you bring back Babar Azam, Babar can bat at 4, Hassan Nawaz can bat at 5, and then Haris can be put at number 6 or vice versa. Because right now, the most good player of spin right now, which I see in the middle order, Hassan Nawaz. That's period. You know, the guy, I think, has correctly answered what K. Asif had been saying for the past 3 years, that once you're playing for Pakistan, you can't pick your position, that I'm an opener. He came down the order, he performed, and he raised his hand that I can do it in the middle order as well. And I think that should be the case for everyone.
The adaptability, you know, his basically adaptability must be appreciated, because he was an opener. You know, I was discussing with some of the local cricketers. I mean, they basically used to play with Hassan Nawaz, and they said he basically never came at number 3 or number 4 as well. So he always opened. But I mean, hats off to him. He basically listened to Moin Khan, maybe quite a Gladiators, coach as well. So we must appreciate his, his
absolutely. And I like I said, I think right now, if we had to pick one player that has tremendously impressed us, even after a rough patch that we saw, Hassan Nawaz, and congratulations to him. When you perform for the country, you play for the country rather than playing with your country, we will always support you. Same as that. But that being said, we now move on to the World Test Championship, which is just 5 days to go now. A very, very interesting discussion we had a day before as well, but it's a bit technical now when it comes to the World Test Championship. K. Asif Ahmad, obviously Australia, the strongest side, defending champion, nerves on there as well, but a lot of players in the Australian side might be looking at this World Test Championship as their last assignment in Test cricket. They might include Usman Khwaja, might be Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon is at the peak of his career, can say goodbye anytime to Test cricket, even Steve Smith. This is very, very important for Australia.
Well, I think, Ahmad, see, both of the captains, Timber Bavuma and Pat Cummins, if you go for the comparison, there is no comparison between these two skippers. Though South Africa played some extraordinary cricket in this World Test Championship and they got a place in final. But even then, if you see that Australia played 19 games, and they have 155 points, and South Africa played only 13 games, but even then they've qualified, means that they played some quality cricket. But now the opposition is Australia. As you said, that their senior players like Usman Khaja, like Stephen Smith, even Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon, all of them, they have played enough cricket. And there might be, after winning this World Test Championship, they announced their retirement. You rightly said. But see, I'm quite sure that South Africa will definitely do their best. Why? Just because, they got a very first time they're in the finals of World Test Championship, and they will try to do something extraordinary because they didn't win any ICC events so far. Last night, I have given an example that the final snatched by India on a very last moment, the way Jasprit Bumrah bowled a stunning spell, and South Africa lost, and we called them chokers on that time. This is the big problem with the South Africa. Will they come out from this situation or not? It's a big question.
Bavuma will be hailed as a hero afterwards. I mean, nonetheless, and he's got them to the final. You got to appreciate him as a skipper as well. At a very difficult moment, he took over captaincy and he's brought them here.
Look, I would go for South Africa because there are, criticism from England, players like Michael Vaughan. He basically criticized that South Africa has, played lesser number of matches. But I mean, England has enough chance, but had enough chance because England, played so many Test matches, especially away from home as well. But I mean, two deserving teams in the WTC final, especially South Africa. They basically, at the start of this particular cycle, they sent their team to New Zealand. 80% players basically, they did not travel to New Zealand because they were supposed to play, their local, domestic league as well. So lots of criticism, on South African team selection committee as well. But I mean, there were at that particular time some youngsters basically came out at that, from that series. So this shows, their directions as well, their future considerations as well. So this particular, final at Lords, favoring will be, to Australia because of their experience, because Pat Cummins, Khwaja as well, Smith, Lombache, even Alex Carey will be a crucial part of Australian side. They basically played Ashes in England, so they have, they are basically little bit familiar with the conditions as well.
Right, certainly. Thank you very much, Sabir Hussain and Asif Ahmad, for joining us. The World Test Championship takes place after 5 days. You're going to watch all the action live on PTV Sports, and it's very, very interesting. A short break. We come right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra, and now we move on to tennis, and we have to discuss the French Open. I mean, so much excitement over there. We can not just only talk about the men's affairs, but also the women's final now is on the cards, and it's going to be a very interesting one as well. But before we do that, obviously we do give you the update as well, and the update is very, very interesting because, as I said in my introduction as well, that whenever in life you tend to discard Novak Djokovic, he'll tell you once again that I'm still there. And that's what he keeps on doing. But they've got a fair share of competition now with Luca Musetti, who's facing Carlos Alcaraz in the semi-final, followed by Jannik Sinner against Novak Djokovic, which I think Sinner and Djokovic is worthy of a final, to be honest. That's a absolutely exciting contest that I'm looking forward to. But now, like I said, coming to the women's affairs, Aryna Sabalenka versus Coco Gauff, and both of them have had interesting semi-finals as well. Gauff beating Boyson, who was being tipped to probably reach the final because she had already caused an upset, moving her way to the semis as well. But Sabalenka overcoming Iga Swiatek and breaking her winning streak. That was something you don't see happening, but I think that was very interesting as well. To discuss this and much more, we've been joined by the tennis expert, somebody who's just been recently crowned national champion once again. She also happens to be not only a very, very talented tennis player, but an absolutely exceptional sports presenter as well, and a broadcaster, and of course a fellow colleague and a very dear friend. We're very, very honored to be joined by Miss Mehak Khokhar. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Mehak?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Ahmad, and thank you so much for the introduction. How are you?
I'm very well. It's been a long time, but I'm glad that you're turning everything into gold that you're touching.
Thank you so much. Same for you. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Well, first of all,
Absolutely
congratulations
fantastic.
from all of us on
you.
winning the Nationals. We were all rooting for you.
Thank
and
you.
I want to talk about that first, and then I'll move on to the professional tennis.
Of course.
Because I understand in that blistering heat, it was not
my
easy
God.
considering what was going on with you as well.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, before the national tournament happened, we had trials. We have these yearly trials. Doesn't matter whether you're like the top, you're in the top 4. You still have to give them where the top 8 girls get invited to come and play the trials to see who's going to go this year and, play internationally for Pakistan in the Billie Jean King Cup. So first of all, and I was actually working at that time because the PSL was happening, so I was hosting the show with Ahmed Shahzad. Then I basically left midway. I left Lahore, came back. I took some holidays from there, came back for 3 days, gave the trials, made the team. And even in the trials, because it was so hot, I ended up vomiting on the court. And then I came back, then I had to come back again. I took some holidays off the show again, and I came back for the national tournament. And I cannot tell you, I think there was a heat wave happening in Islamabad at that time. In fact, the entire Pakistan, and it was absolutely awful to play in that heat. But honestly, I think it was just, it's always about grit, resilience, who can kind of, just push through and kick through, all the challenges that you're facing on the court at that time. And it was just about who could do it better. Although I don't think it's very safe or healthy to, make your children play in that heat because you can get a heat stroke. But honestly speaking, like, this is the challenges that I think all human beings really do enjoy overall. And I think for athletes, this is what makes you a good athlete, when you can overcome those challenges. So yeah, I was really, really happy. Shukr alhamdulillah. You know, obviously I have to thank God that, you know, I did make it through. It was a very tough final where I was vomiting in the final in the heat, and it went into 3 sets. But I came out on the other side very
Talk
happy.
about not giving up.
Yeah, very happy. I was super, super happy. So yeah, super grateful for that win.
Well, I'll be honest, you know, once we saw you becoming the star that you are already, and it's not just, you know, the broadcasting end of it as well, it's also films and drama, and we know that already with your career, us being little fans. No. But, you know, we really thought that, you know, the love for tennis, we were probably, you know, confused whether it's going to be there or not.
Yeah.
But you winning the competition just solidifies that once again, that whether Mehak is presenting, whether she's broadcasting, the tennis is always going to be the first priority.
Thank you so much. No, honestly, you know, it can be a bit of a battle when you're like kind of battling 2 jobs at the same time. Obviously, you even know yourself how tough broadcasting can be. So I think when you're kind of battling 2 jobs, you kind of do question yourself that, you know, can I do this? Can I still, you know, come back, win another national title, make it in the team again? But I think it's just, it's all in your head. I think we hear professional, we're going to talk about, you know, obviously Roland Garros, but we even hear it from the tennis players, that it's all in your head. It's all whoever is mentally tougher usually wins in the court.
Absolutely.
So I think, you know, your mind is capable of achieving so much. You just need to tap into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now coming to the tennis itself now, what are you hoping for the final? Because we've got 2 fantastic tennis players in the women's final right now at the French Open. And we've got to first, I think, talk about Coco Gauff as well. She's had a dream run already in the past couple of tournaments.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think she's won a Grand Slam, of course, in hard courts, but I think clay is so well suited to her game that everybody's just waiting for her to win that French Open, to win a Roland Garros title. And then, of course, she took out somebody who was on a dream run, Boysen. I mean, I was actually rooting for Boysen because it was such an amazing, inspirational story, how, you know, she was ranked so low and she made it all the way through to the semi-finals in her home country. So, you know, you love those underdog stories and you really want them to carry through, but obviously Coco Gauff came and she ended that story for her, unfortunately. But I think Gauff is, you know, such a young, you know, promising, she has such a promising future ahead of her. She's already proved what she's capable of at such a young age. But then, of course, on the other hand, we've got somebody that, I mean, we've got Sabalenka, who keeps improving to people again and again why she is world #1. She went on to break Iga Swiatek's 26-match Roland Garros run, you know, where she was unbeaten. Everybody would say that, oh, Iga Swiatek is the female version of Nadal, where she's just coming and dominating on clay and practically on every surface for a while. But, you know, Sabalenka now being world #1 just proved that, you know what, I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay as the world #1, and I can beat anybody on any given day, even if it's somebody like who's unbeatable like Swiatek. So I think this is going to be a very, very exciting final between both of them. We know that, you know, both of them are fighters. Both of them have a lot of grit. Sabalenka's a hard hitter. She crushes the ball like no other. You know, she's got so much power in her strokes. And then Coco Gauff, on the other hand, she plays with so much spin and she drives the opponent crazy because she's so athletic. She gets to every ball, she returns it, she makes you have long rallies. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because we know that on clay, you know, which player can kind of grind it out for longer. The spin is so effective, top spin is so effective on a clay court. But then we've got 2, you know, different kind of players that play 2 completely different game styles. So I think that contrast is going to be very interesting to watch and to see who comes out.
Where's your, you know, expertise taking you?
So
What's the call for you?
I honestly, even though I feel like clay suits Coco Gauff's game more, definitely, I think it is more well suited to her. But I just think the way Sabalenka has been for quite some time now on any surface, you know, it can be any surface at all. I think she's just been, you just can't write her out, because she's just been, I think mentally, she's just so well collected. She's so strong. No matter what the scoreline is, no matter where she is in a match, she just plays some fearless tennis out there. And I know that on clay, you know, spin is more effective and, you know, you kind of question her power and, of course, her patience on such a court. But I think she's just so mentally fierce when she comes out on the court that even on a surface like clay, she can you know, go on and overpower Coco. So I think for me, the favorite would be Sabalenka, but I think it will definitely be one to watch.
Definitely, greatly analyzed by you, and I personally think as well that we've got Sabalenka a lot to be favourite over there as well. But finally, I must ask you about the men's affair as well, because it's going to be very interesting. We've got a lot of names in there, but once again, all eyes on Novak.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the man is 38 years old, but he's like, you know what, you still can't count me out. Anytime somebody doubts him, we've got people still questioning about his retirement, which I think is absolutely crazy, because it's like someone who's dominated the sport so much, and even at such a later stage in his life, you know, being 38 years old, or should we say 38 years young, he's still, you know, in that top league, and he's just consistently still performing. But, you know, we have to keep in mind that the last time he won a Grand Slam, Ahmad, was in 2023. So it's been, you know, over 2 years. It was Australian Open 2023, the last time he won a Grand Slam. And he's still in search for that 25th Grand Slam title. Even though he's, you know, the one that's leading those Grand Slam counts now. But, you know, he's still hungry for more. He's actually told everybody that I'm still going to play until the next Olympics.
And every time he develops a new drive, I think there's a new challenge every time.
But, you know, you'd think that maybe with Federer now gone, Nadal now gone, you know, his biggest rivals, Andy Murray, all of them now gone. You'd think that maybe the motivation or the drive would end in him, but he's still so hungry that he's already made a statement that I will be playing until the next Olympics. So I'm not going anywhere. And I think his fitness is just something that kind of leaves so many athletes, not just athletes, everybody around the world speechless. But I think one man that really does trouble him is Sinner. So that's going to be such an interesting match to watch. We know that Djokovic just can't find the answers against Sinner. Sinner, even though, you know, he had that small ban on him, he came back from that. He's still so, you know, solid with this game that people feel like they just can't beat him. They're like, you know, we just don't know what to do against Sinner. We just feel like we're lost. We're completely lost on the court. And I think that is one man, because we know Djokovic can beat Alcaraz. But Sinner is one man that he really does have trouble beating, and we've seen that in the past 2 years. And then on the other hand, we've got Carlos Alcaraz. That is the only man that can beat Sinner. You know, I feel like every other player that's out there, you know, Sinner beats them quite easily. But Alcaraz, on the other hand, has a stronger head-to-head against Sinner. And he's that one guy that stops Sinner from winning possibly every tournament or every Grand Slam. So I think it's going to be a really interesting, of course, semi-final matchup. But then even when whoever comes into the final, especially if it's Carlos Alcaraz or Novak Djokovic or Jannik Sinner, of course, Musetti's had an amazing run as well, and we don't know what can happen today. You know, he's also played some very amazing and promising tennis. But I think just overall, I think we're promised a very interesting and very exciting final to see who can actually lift that French Open title now that, of course, the king of clay, you know, Rafael Nadal is gone.
Absolutely, certainly. But thank you very much, Mehak Khokhar, for being with us. Always a pleasure and honor having you on the show, and best of luck for the tennis ahead as well.
Thank you so much.
That wraps it up from me and our entire team of Sports Extra. It's goodbye for now.